So we are on our next topic, that are bases. We have already discussed that bases are the substance which are bitter in taste, bases are the substance that are soapy in touch, and these are the substance which have the tendency to release OH minus ions. So these are the three basic things about the bases, that they are bitter in taste, soapy in touch, and they have the tendency to release OH minus ions. Now we are discussing about alkali. Alkali are those substances which are the soluble bases. So we can say that soluble bases are called alkalis. So our next topic is alkalis. Soluble bases are called alkalis. Now we have two type of alkalis, that is sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide, which are generally water soluble. So soluble bases are called alkalis, and we have the two examples in this category. The two examples are potassium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide. Now we also have some of the OH group substances, but these are not considered in the category of alkalis. So we have certain more examples. Like calcium hydroxide, aluminium hydroxide. These are actually the bases, but these are not considered in the category of alkalis because they are not water soluble. So these are not alkalis. Now we are going to discuss about the many of the bases and their uses in our daily life. We have the variety of bases and variety of applications in the daily life. So our next topic will be uses of alkalis or bases. So in the category of the uses of the alkalis and bases, we have our firstly we will write serial number here. Then our next category will be name of base. Then we will write about its formula. And the third table is about its uses. So our first base is sodium hydroxide. So the name of the base is sodium hydroxide. So sodium hydroxide will having a general formula, that is NaOH. NaOH is basically used in the formation of paper, pulp, paint and rayon, and sometimes it is also used in the textile industries. So its basic use in paper, pulp, rayon. So this will be the basic use of the sodium hydroxide. Now we are moving to our next category of the base, that is of second, that is potassium hydroxide. So our second example is potassium hydroxide. Potassium hydroxide is having a general formula KOH. So this KOH is basically used in textile industries. It is again used in the extraction of certain form of metal, but its basic use will be in textile industries. And this sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxides are basically used in the manufacturing of soap. So its common application is manufacturing of soap. So in the manufacturing of soap, we basically use potassium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide. This is their common application. Now we are proceeding to our third element, that is calcium hydroxide. Our third element is calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide is having a general formula CaOH whole twice. It is used in bleaching of water and it is used for removing the hardness of water. So its general application is removing hardness of water. Now we are moving to our fourth element, that is ammonium hydroxide and aluminium hydroxide. So our fourth element is aluminium hydroxide. Aluminium hydroxide is having a general formula AlOH3 whole thrice. Now aluminium hydroxide is generally used in the case of the bee sting when there is an ant bite or bee sting, so removing or removal of sting. So its general application will be aluminium hydroxide is used for forming agent in fire extinguisher. It is used as a forming agent in case of fire extinguisher. Now we are moving to our next element, our fifth element will be magnesium hydroxide. The magnesium hydroxide is having a general formula, that is MgOH whole twice, that is magnesium hydroxide, and magnesium hydroxide is basically used as an antacid. So its application is that it is used as an antacid in case of acidity. Now we have our sixth element, that is ammonium hydroxide. Last is ammonium hydroxide. Ammonium hydroxide is having a general formula NH4OH and it is used for removing grease or paints. And sometimes it is also used to clean window panes. So this is generally a uses of some of the bases in our daily life. Among these, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide and magnesium hydroxide also having its commercial name. So I am writing their commercial name here. Sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide and magnesium hydroxide. These three of the compounds will having a commercial name also. So the name of the sodium hydroxide is basically known as soda ash, potassium hydroxide is known as potash and magnesium hydroxide is basically known as milk of magnesia. So this is actually the caustic soda we used in our daily purpose. So sodium hydroxide is caustic soda, potassium hydroxide is caustic potash, and magnesium hydroxide is known as milk of magnesia. So these are the commercial names of these three compounds. So in 1 mark question, this question is very important, that what is the name of the magnesium hydroxide. So magnesium hydroxide is known as milk of magnesia. These are the commercial name of all these three compounds. So this lecture is over for today. We will deal with the classification of bases in our next lecture. Thank you so much and have a nice day.